Welcome, everyone. You are attending the MLS of Choice information webinar. My name is Sharon Chard, manager of the Cincinnati MLS, and also with me is Tina Harvey, project manager of the Cincinnati MLS. Few housekeeping items first. All attendees are muted. If you have questions, please enter them into the webinar chat box. We will answer all questions at the end of the presentation. Today, we will discuss an MLS policy change that the National Association of Realtors has mandated to be implemented by July 1st, 2018. NAR created the mandate, but left the implementation details and policies up to the local MLSs. The CincyMLS committees and directors have created the implementation plan and hope we have everything covered. If not, I am very sure you will not hesitate to let me know. So what is the change? The change allows members to opt out of their office's primary MLS if they choose to and subscribe to an alternate MLS or commercial information exchange of which their principal broker or appraiser and office is a member. There are very specific criteria, rules, and processes we will discuss throughout this webinar. So why is it changing? Currently, policy requires the broker to pay dues for every licensee within the office to each of the MLSs of which the office is a member, unless there is a reciprocity agreement in place between neighboring MLSs. CincyMLS has had reciprocity agreements with Dayton and Columbus MLSs for many years. This means that we don't require all licensees to join CincyMLS if only a few want to join Cincinnati as a secondary MLS. So reciprocity basically says not every licensee in an office has to join a secondary MLS. Currently, if the primary MLS for an office is Cincinnati, then all licensees in that office must join CincyMLS. If the primary MLS for an office is Dayton or Columbus, only the office and those licensees who want CincyMLS as a secondary MLS will join. Many MLSs across the country do not have reciprocity agreements with neighboring MLSs, which can put a huge financial burden on brokers and agents. If there were a single reason why NAR has adopted this policy, it would be because many MLSs do not have reciprocity with their neighboring MLS. Since Cincinnati does have reciprocity with Dayton and Columbus, this new policy will impact very few of our members. In the case of an office with 100 licensees who is a member of 6 separate MLSs without reciprocity, they would be required to pay dues for 100 licensees to each of the 6 MLSs. That's a lot of money when most of these 100 licensees probably do not use all 6 MLSs. Again, Cincinnati does not operate this way because we already have a reciprocity agreement with Dayton and Columbus. So what exactly has changed in the NAR policy? Current NAR policy requires the broker to pay dues for every licensee within the office to each of the MLSs the office is a member. There is no requirement for the local MLS to offer a waiver opportunity for brokers and licensees. NAR removed parts of the policy that are no longer necessary. NAR added a requirement for the local MLSs to offer a no-cost waiver of MLS fees, dues, and charges if a licensee meets certain requirements. This new requirement has been dubbed the MLS of Choice. And let's remember, it is a choice which MLS to belong, but you must belong to at least one MLS or commercial exchange. And how will this affect MLS participation? Participants have the option at a no-cost waiver of MLS fees, dues, and charges for any licensee who can demonstrate subscription to an alternate MLS where the principal broker and office participates. Submission of a waiver application for certification of non-use of MLS services must be sent to CincyMLS for review and approval in the required time frame. The applicant must be a member of another MLS or recognized commercial information exchange of which the principal broker or appraiser of record and office is subscribed. The applicant may not use or access CincyMLS, its data, or its services. Listings may not be advertised under or include in remarks a waived applicant's information in CincyMLS or by using CincyMLS distribution services. Teams subscribe or waive out as a team. If one member of a team subscribes to CincyMLS, all team members must subscribe. Listings of a waiver applicant located in the CincyMLS service area must be entered in the CincyMLS under the broker's name only and may not be advertised or include in remarks a different contact name in the CincyMLS or by using CincyMLS distribution services. Waivers must be renewed each dues period. The process for renewal will begin 45 days prior to the dues billing cycle. The principal broker must notify MLS within 10 calendar days of changes to the eligibility status of a waiver applicant. That was a lot of information, so let's break down these requirements. Let's say that a broker office is a member of 3 different MLSs. Licensees within that office may choose which MLS or MLSs to be a member of. They would not be required to join all 3 as long as they meet all requirements. Members have access to many services through their MLS membership. These services include not only Rapatoni, but Supra, Showing Time, HomeSnap Pro, and much more. By opting out of CincyMLS, these services would also be discontinued. If a member of a team requests a waiver, they are indicating that they do not want to receive or pay for the data and services offered by CincyMLS. If that team member is granted the waiver, this could preclude the team from filing the team's listings in CincyMLS unless all members of the team are subscribers. Teams are either all in or all out. All listings of a waived applicant in the CincyMLS service area must be entered into MLS under the broker's name only. No other contact name or information may be included in remarks or through any CincyMLS distribution services. Waivers are good through the dues billing period and must be renewed semi-annually. 1 month prior to dues billing, a request for renewal will be sent to the brokers. Brokers will have 2 weeks to complete and return the renewal to avoid getting invoiced for any waived applicants. Brokers must notify CincyMLS of any change to eligibility status within 10 calendar days, including a lapse in membership in the alternate MLS. With the notification, the broker is agreeing to either return the agent's license to the Ohio Division of Real Estate or require the licensee to subscribe to CincyMLS within 3 business days. So what is the waiver exactly? A waiver form is a single-page, broker-friendly form that is good through the dues period. Violation and revocation of a waiver for non-compliance is a $500 fine plus payment of retroactive dues. The top of the form includes the requirements we have just covered in the webinar. The bottom includes the broker's responsibilities, including notification and ramifications if there is a violation. It must be signed by the managing broker or appraiser of record. The backside of the application is Exhibit A. Each applicant acknowledges receipt of and agrees to all the rules, policies, and requirements. Each applicant will fill out the required information and sign Exhibit A. So how do we get a violation? There are a few possibilities. One, unauthorized use of CincyMLS, its data, or its services. A waiver applicant may not use the CincyMLS, its data, or its services in any way. Two, lapse in membership with a qualified MLS. If a waiver applicant wants to terminate subscription with their MLS of choice, they must subscribe to another MLS of which the broker or appraiser in office are a member. Three, failure to notify CincyMLS of changes in eligibility of the waiver applicant. Four, sharing CincyMLS credentials, data, or other CincyMLS services with a waiver applicant. And finally, violations will incur a $500 non-compliance fine plus payment of retroactive dues. There will be no proration of the dues either. So why would somebody want to opt out of CincyMLS? One, we have members who work in an area that is not in the primary CincyMLS service area, or they work primarily in an overlapping area and choose to only join the other MLS. Members who work primarily in commercial properties might find that a recognized commercial information exchange would be better to serve their needs instead of the CincyMLS. So that is the MLS of choice in a nutshell. Everything we just covered is included in the documentation we provided, so you can reference it in the future. And that was our formal presentation. I would like to spend one more minute to break it down in a non-formal manner. Here are my bullet points. One, you must belong to an MLS or commercial exchange, period. Two, if you do most of your business in the CincyMLS service area, this will probably not impact you. Three, if you prefer an alternate MLS, you must apply each dues period through your broker. Four, even though you may opt out of CincyMLS, any listings you obtain in our service area will still be required to be entered in the CincyMLS system under the broker's name. No other contact information may be included on these listings. Five, once waived, you cannot use any CincyMLS data or services. This includes Rapatoni, reports or statistics from Rapatoni, Supra, showing time, etc. Six, if you violate the rules, it is a $500 fine plus payment of the dues. This totals about $700. I think these 6 bullet points are what you need to know to be aware of the new policy. If you think it is something you are interested in, you just need to read the information we have provided and call us with any questions. I want to thank you for taking the time to attend this webinar.